Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the show. So last Tuesday's primary election was significant for many reasons, and logical voters appear to be aware finally of what's at stake in our country, which is our freedom. Voter turnout was off the charts, especially for a midterm election when a lot of people check out. And in Kansas, voters of every political persuasion showed up and said no to extremism. And you guys may have heard about this already. You guys probably know about the Kansas abortion vote, but I wanted to touch on this because some people aren't really aware of what all played a part in this election, in this particular vote on this abortion issue. And in Kansas, Trump won by 15 points. So for all the right wingers out there trying to downplay this as if, oh, well, it's Kansas. Of course no, nobody expected this. The turnout was almost twice of what it was in the 2018 midterms. That's one major factor. Approximately 900,000 Kansas voters cast their ballots in the Tuesday's primary, whereas in 2018, it was just under 500,000. And remember, 2018 was a major turnout because people were so upset about Trump. This time, they rejected overreach by the Republican Party. So here's the deal. Here's what went down. There was an amendment I mentioned recently. It was placed on the ballot in the state, and voters were asked if they wanted to maintain what was already on the books because of the state's Supreme Court saying that abortion was a right under their state's constitution. The amendment was very deceptive because no meant yes, yes meant no. On top of that, a Republican-run political action committee actually paid for text messages to be sent out, which purposely lied to the voters. The text messages said that, quote, voting yes on the amendment will give women a choice. Vote yes to protect women's health. And anti-abortion zealots also tried to mislead the public. They claim that voting yes wouldn't lead to a complete abortion ban. However, it would place the decision in the hands of state lawmakers. And those state lawmakers were already on record saying that what they wanted to do was overturn abortion. They wanted to overturn abortion from the time of conception. They wanted a ban on it. In fact, the Kansas Reflector news outlet obtained an audio recording, and you could hear in the recording an anti-choice group member was talking with Republicans. These were Kansas officials. In it, the anti-choice representative told the lawmakers that they already had abortion ban legislation that they drafted, and they were just waiting for this amendment to pass. And of course, the anti-women zealots placed this amendment on the primary ballot thinking, oh, well, this is going to help suppress Democratic voter turnout because they barely ever show up in midterms, and especially in the primaries. Well, some 60% of voters told the government, stay out of a woman's uterus. Now, here's the crucial part of this win. Independents and Republicans played a major role in this vote. In Kansas primary elections, you can't vote for a Democrat or a Republican candidate unless you're registered for that respective party. So people who are registered as no party preference or independents couldn't actually cast a vote for any of the candidates listed on the ballot. However, they did come out to vote for this amendment, and they sent a very clear message to the extremist Republican Party: you've gone too far. In addition, the final vote tally reflected that Republicans also voted in large numbers against this amendment. What pushed this over the edge was the number of Republicans who may have come out to vote for a Republican candidate, but they said, no, this is overreach. I don't want this for me. I don't want this for my daughter. I don't want this for my wife. This was a bad omen. It does not bode well for their over-the-top anti-abortion extremist candidates that they're running in this midterm election in November. So we'll see how the numbers shake out, but it seems like more independents and more moderate Republican voters were the X factor. They were the X factor that extremists were not counting on. So I'm now starting to think that this midterm election is going to be one for the history books. I mean, there's just a lot of factors that we've never had at play before in the history of our country. What's really interesting, too, is that these anti-choice nut jobs, they still don't get it. They still don't realize that they are the minority. They're out pushing the false narrative that, oh, the left is the one that spread misinformation about the amendment. And, whoa, we were outspent by pro-choice advocates. Those are all lies. Matt Schlapp, who chairs the CPAC conference, he actually said that the Kansas amendment wasn't restrictive enough for conservative voters. That's his take. He literally said that if the ban had been more severe, like if they had introduced a fetal heartbeat bill, it would have passed. They're completely delusional. They're drinking their own Kool-Aid. And the problem, though, which Democratic lawmakers are now warning about, is that losses like these incite Republicans even more to try to pass the national abortion ban, right? Because if they win in 2022 and 2024, and they see that these so-called leave it to the states antics don't work, you know, if they have these amendments that come up in various states and they keep losing, then they're just going to force their agenda on the entire nation. Not that it's a bad thing that these amendments aren't passing, but that's what we have to look forward to if they win. So it is absolutely, unequivocally, existentially important that they lose in 2022 and 2024. So personally, I hope they keep drinking their own Kool-Aid, because then they won't course correct. If they can't identify the problem, then they can't identify a solution, and they will not understand that they are too extreme, and that's the issue. So personally, I hope they keep going for it. I hope they keep pushing for a ban on not just abortion from the time of conception with no exceptions, but I hope they keep pushing for no contraception. You can probably look for some of these extremist, over-the-top, crazy, Q-loon, election denier, Trump candidates to start changing their message a little bit, I would imagine, as we get closer to the November election. They're going to start reeling it in. They're going to start pretending that, oh, did I say a total ban and no exceptions for rape or incest? Oh, that's not what I meant. Yeah. Believe them the first time. Anyway, as I hear more, I will let you know. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.